What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch back here with TheBottomLineView, and we are here to discuss the man known as Nick Foles, the Super Bowl legend, the Philadelphia Eagle forever. Nick Foles is going to be the quarterback of his own team. He's not going to have to sit on the bench, and he has a very talented roster behind him. Nick Foles is going to be the starting quarterback, Dilly Vanilli, for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Former Super Bowl MVP, 4 years, $88 million. Nick Foles, okay, he ruined my life. No, I'm just kidding. But he did beat my Patriots in the Super Bowl. We all know that. He has had some clutch performances over the past 2 years, and he has really proven himself to be a starting caliber quarterback. He is a very, very tough quarterback. If there's anything to be said about Nick Foles, it's he doesn't care about what moment it is. No. There's no moment that is too big for Nick Foles, and there is no real pressure on him that is going to physically or mentally that is going to hurt his game, whether that's a rush, a blitz coming at him straight away and him getting absolutely destroyed. He'll hang in the pocket and make that throw. Or if it's mental pressure of being in the Super Bowl as the backup quarterback, it doesn't really matter for Nick Foles. Do you think this was the right move for the Jaguars, or should they have possibly traded for somebody like a Josh Rosen, or should they have drafted a quarterback? Do you think Nick Foles was the right move?
I'm gonna get some flack in here. I know there's gonna be some people on my you know what for the comments I'm about to say, but I gotta back it up here. I'm not a big fan of this signing, and here's why. I know people are a big fan of Nick Foles, and in the playoffs, I love Nick Foles. But here's the thing: when he was the quarterback for the Eagles in those late situations, he had nothing to lose. He had everything to gain out of that moment and nothing to lose. And when you have nothing to lose, that's one of the most dangerous men on the planet. All right. So last year or 2 years ago when he won Super Bowl 53 as the backup, what happened? Carson Wentz was the leading MVP candidate. He goes down with a big injury. Nick Foles goes in there. People are thinking, oh, the season's done. This really sucks. Our quarterback's hurt. Nick Foles, we'll see what you can do. Kind of finish up the year. We're still going to make the playoffs. They make the playoffs. Nick Foles goes out there in the playoffs against the Falcons, gets a surprising victory. Okay, we got a nice win. That's the number 1 seed. Let's go to the NFC Championship game. You know, we'll see how it goes. They destroy the Vikings. You're like, wow, we're 1 game away from winning the Super Bowl. And then they beat the Patriots, the almighty Patriots, in the Super Bowl. So Nick Foles had everything to gain in that moment. Last year, when Carson Wentz was still hurt, they decided to put Nick Foles as the quarterback. The first 2 games, he wasn't very good. He was not a very good quarterback. It was very bad, honestly. Like the first game that we saw against the Falcons was doo-doo. So then Carson Wentz comes back in. More injuries fall on him. And Nick Foles is in there. And now you're like, oh, the Eagles, you know, their record's not even all that good. We're not going to make the playoffs. Nick Foles is still in there, though. Let's see how it goes. He finishes off the year great. He loves finishing off the year and going forward very, very good. He loves doing that thing. They beat the Bears with the great defense that they had. And then we're one Alshon Jeffrey through the hands away from making the NFC title game. So what I might bring up in those situations is that Nick Foles had everything to gain in those moments. He wasn't the starter. He wasn't being put in this big spotlight, this big situation, and all that kind of thing. It was just, well, here's Nick Foles. He's given a nice opportunity, but I don't see much success. And then he wins the Super Bowl and still goes to the NFC divisional round the next year after nobody thought they were going to do so. In Jacksonville, he's going to be the big presence. He's going to be the guy, right? Jacksonville still has a great defense. They still got a lot of great players that are on that team. And now he's going to be the leader. He's getting paid $22 million a year for this team. They just saw their quarterback that they picked last time absolutely flop in every single way. And now they're going to Nick Foles, who, as we saw in those first couple of games last year, didn't really get the moments done, didn't get the job done as much as the Eagles fans wanted it to. Now, if they're in clutch situations later on down the road, he can do so. But I don't think he's going to have that same success throughout 16 games. And that's what the Jaguars are going to want them to do. He's going to have all this pressure making this money to lead them to high success. And I'm just not sold on the fact that he's going to get it done. Do I want him to succeed? Yes, considering the last Jaguars quarterback was absolute garbage. I want anybody to succeed, and that's going to dethrone Blake Bortles. But I just don't see it happening. This is not one of my favorite signings.
I'll be the good cop.
There you go.
Blake Bortles stinks. Okay, I've said
Anything is
that.
an upgrade. I will say that. Anything is an
I
upgrade.
said that forever. This is a upgrade, a good one. And Nick Foles is a player. There's something to be said about his ability in the clutch time. And I don't think him going to a different team is really going to change that. I think this is the type of player that the Jacksonville Jaguars need, because you think about it this way. The Jaguars are still a team that want to run the ball. They're still a team that want to play defense. Nick Foles does not need to be Tom Brady. He does not need to be Drew Brees. He needs to be Nick Foles. He needs to manage the game and play well. And this is a quarterback that is very smart. He'll make the right decision. He'll get the ball out quickly. That's something that I think the Eagles did very well at the end of last year. That's a big reason why they beat the Bears. He got the ball out quickly. The pressure he didn't allow it to get to him. He made the read. He made the decision. And with Blake Bortles, he has a lot better arm than Blake Bortles. He has a lot better accuracy than Blake Bortles. He's a lot more consistent with his ball than Blake Bortles. That will help these receivers. I think they have good receivers on their team. I think Keelan Cole is underrated. I think Marquise Lee is underrated. I think Dede Westbrook. These guys have talent that has not been able to shine yet because they've had such a terrible quarterback. I think they'll play a lot better with this type of quarterback. Now, something has to be said about their offensive line. I think they need to upgrade a little bit on their offensive line. I do really love Norwell and Linder. But outside of that, like the tackle position especially needs to get an upgrade. So they need to look into that. The tight end, they don't really have one on their roster right now. But they have a running game and they have a quarterback now. And they definitely have a defense. So we'll see how Nick Foles works out. But as long as they play the style of football they want to, I think Nick Foles is a good quarterback for that team.
I mean, don't get me wrong with the people that are going to come in here. I like Nick Foles to an extent, but I also want to say that I feel like the Eagles players really huddled around him. They've played a lot better with Nick Foles. He's not going to have that kind of way this year. I don't know. It's all about being the game leader, not through the last 3 games, but the whole 16 games. That's what I want to see him in year 1. That's just what I think.
All right, guys. Well, what side are you on with Nick Foles? Are you on Dylan's side or are you on my side? Let us know. Is Nick Foles gonna lead the Jaguars back to the AFC Championship or the playoffs, or is he gonna ultimately disappoint and be a bust on this contract? Let us know. Gronks, like the like button and subscribe to the channel for more NFL. Peace.